So there are a few things that make you lose your energy, and a few things that make you gain energy in life. If you know the difference between those things that give you energy and those things that take away energy from yourself, you can somewhat control your experience. And if you're able to do that, there's a gradual falling away of this kind of victim mentality that things are happening to me, feelings are happening to me, thoughts are happening to me, my mind is happening to me, all this kind of stuff. And you might be able to exchange it, thinking a bit in more creative ways, helping yourself to rise up rather than just kind of being stuck in your past, repeating old habit patterns and so forth. So analyzing yourself in terms of what it is that gives you energy and what takes away energy from you. Is there anything that comes to mind? Anything that takes away energy from you that you do habitually, that you do all the time? Sleeping takes away energy from you?
Less sleep.
Okay.
Not enough sleep.
Oh, not enough sleep. That would have been kind of weird. It could be the case if you're sleeping too much. It might take energy from you. It's the case, yeah.
Not enough sleep.
Yes, not enough, for sure. Anything else that takes energy from you?
Consuming alcohol.
Consuming alcohol, yes, absolutely.
Liking and disliking things.
Oh, liking and disliking things, yes, very, very good. That's a very subtle point, yeah. Overthinking, yes, exactly. Right? There's a lot of stuff that you all know that you do regularly. Stop thinking about others. Stop thinking in general terms. Think about yourself. What is it that you do regularly that takes your energy?
Being around people who play victim.
Yes, for example. That's another one. Yes, absolutely. So there's various things that can take away our energy. Yes, there's primary causes for the loss of energy, and there's secondary causes for the loss. So primary cause is resistance. A primary cause would be resistance to government offices, resistance to noise, resistance to taxes, resistance to this, that. That's kind of a primary cause. If it wasn't for that resistance, you would lose far less energy. You'd be just okay with the way it is. You wouldn't fight the truth of this moment. You'd be noticing, all right, yeah, it's all right. The world is like this. It's not different. And a thought such as, the world should be different. Everyone should wear masks. Everyone should comply. No one should comply. Nobody should be wearing masks. This and that, all these kind of thoughts, like should kind of thoughts, right? They have nothing to do with the way it is. They have something to do with an ideal that you hold in your mind, and different people hold different ideals. Some people hold the ideal of, I wish everyone would not wear masks and not obey the government. Other people say, like, I wish everyone would obey the government and wear masks. But how is the world in actual fact, reality, if you look at it? It's just the way it is, and it's the way it's always been, not under your control. And that's a huge way of losing energy. If you want to control the world, if you want to control other people in it, you want to control their thoughts, their habits, their feelings, you want to influence them, yield power over them, trying to somehow make them happy or make them see your point and all that kind of stuff. There's so much energy that goes out. Everything we do is always kind of, you can consider it a sort of an investment of energy. Everything comes with a price. Every thought comes with a price. Every feeling comes with a price. Every action comes with a price. If you know that, you may think twice before you do your habitual thing, and because you have a bit of a more foresight. And you consider, okay, maybe I should not be doing that, because every time I do it, I feel horrible about myself, or I feel not good about the world. Maybe every time I think like that, I increase a sense of division between me and other beings.
Don't you think social media exacerbates this problem?
Yes, of course. And who runs social media? It's people. And what runs people? The mind. And of course, so then social media is an expression of the mind, of the collective mind. And the collective mind is a very divisive mind. Here's me and my thing, and it's, of course, always better than they and their thing. And since I'm so different from everything else and everyone else, there's a huge gap, a huge separation. That is a guarantee that you block yourself massively on the spiritual path. There's no way that you can have higher attainments if you're cultivating separation. If you cultivate a sense of difference between me and others. You think of yourself as being somehow better or worse or whatever, these kind of conceits, right? 3 types of conceit. I'm better than you, I'm worse than you, I'm the same as you. All 3 are invalid. They're not correct. We're neither the same, nor are we better, nor are we worse. And so all these kind of things, they come with a high price. They make you emotional, and emotions are very taxing. They take away lots of your energy. Some people think, oh, no, that's not the case with happy emotions. Happy emotions don't take my energy. Yes, they do too, in fact. Nothing is free. Every feeling you have costs you something. It has to be processed. It has to be put into form. The mind has a happy thought. The happy thought translates into a happy feeling. Happy feeling translates into happy physical processes. That is an energy process. And so it costs you something. So what we want to do is we want to find a state that is free of this tugging and pulling and pushing, that is free of so much of a heavy price, so much up and down, so much duality. And in order to get there, paradoxically, you need to invest your energy properly. So you need to do things that take less energy from you. You need to do things that give you, that feed you, that you go up. So what is it, for example, that feeds the mind? Any idea? What is it that feeds the mind? Sash, what feeds the mind?
Emotion.
Emotion? Are you sure about that?
Feeding the mind.
Feeding. What is feeding the mind?
Your conditions that you put into place that
Mm-hmm.
feed in the whatever input then comes through those gates. Mindfulness.
Mindfulness, energy, okay. Conditions that put the mind in this. This is a very simple thing that feeds the mind is a state, for example, stillness. Sugar, no. Sugar is very inefficient fuel. Yes. So, what feeds the mind essentially is stillness. The more still the mind becomes, the more it is fed. It's kind of a funny thing. Many people think of feeding the mind means reading intellectual books, like Nietzsche or, I don't know, Jung or something like that. Here, I'm feeding my mind. I'm reading these highly complex, beautiful literature, belletristic texts and so forth. But that is feeding the mind for a lot of people. For others, they say emotions feed the mind. We think, oh yeah, if I have emotions, if I have a lot of emotions, I feel a lot of love and feel a lot of happiness and so forth, then I'm feeding my mind. Not really. Remember that thoughts take energy, emotions take energy, all that takes energy. Stillness doesn't. But in order to enter it, you have to invest energy. That's the kind of like if you want to call it like the downside to it. In order to access stillness, you have to make your way to it. You have to make your way through layers of noise, gradually refining it, refining the static in your mind, looking underneath it, discovering more and more subtle layers of stillness until you find very profound layers of stillness. And each layer of stillness will give you nutrition, it will give you nourishment. And how is that expressed? In very subtle forms of happiness, which are very powerful. So depending on your level of stillness, depending on your level of quietude, you will experience happiness in accordance. The more nervous you are, the more restless you are, the less happiness is accessible to you. Maybe the only thing that you then have might be some emotional kind of happiness, like reading a joke or, watching an interesting movie or looking forward to something else or something. Later, yes. So in general, what people receive happiness from is very low forms of happiness that are pretty expensive. Like, how much effort does it take to maintain, let's say, a relationship? It takes a lot of effort. It's not just the case that a relationship maintains itself. Yes, you have to do something to maintain it. We have to listen to one another. We have to have good conversation, good communication, and so forth. But if that is not the case, the relationship will break apart, for sure. So that costs you something. The happiness of maintaining a relationship also comes with the downside of having to struggle with a relationship. Like, there's no relationship which just purely only ever gives you happiness and nothing else. Yes. Like having a nice house, how much effort goes into that? Having like, I don't know, anything like a motorbike, you need to maintain it. It comes with a cost. It comes always with a price, everything. Health is a form of happiness. It's nice to have it, but it's not free. You have to do quite a lot to maintain health. Like such as exercise, proper nutrition, looking after your mental health, taking care, that it all comes with huge amounts of effort and energy investments. It's not that health is just simply there for free. There's nothing in the universe that's for free. Everything comes, what that means is everything comes with a cost. A tree doesn't grow for free. It doesn't grow out of nothing. It needs good soil, it needs proper water. If the water is polluted, it can't grow. If there's animals around it that will eat it up, it can't grow. It's impossible. So it needs so many thousands and even millions of conditions for a tree to grow. It's a miracle that this happens in this world. So growth takes something. You have to invest. Well, if you want to grow, first of all, the first thing is you want to know, what do you want to grow? Do you want to be more happy? That's a nice one. Like, okay, let's say you want to be more happy. Let's take that. Grow happiness. Where's the upper limit? How happy could you be? Maybe you want to grow patience. How patient could you be? So a few things need to be put into place, right? You need to measure. You need to have some way of measuring your happiness. Otherwise, you wouldn't really know if you're progressing or regressing or something like that. You need to know what you're doing, and you need to know the outcome of it. So you understand, oh, wow, if I do this, I feel better. I feel more relaxed, more spacious, more open. If I don't do that, I don't feel that good. And so you start to practice it. You practice that thing that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy. And then you will discover, there's an upper limit to it. You're plateauing at some point. You've reached the peak of that particular type of happiness. And you'll be surprised because once you're up on that peak, you see, wow, there's a whole lot of other peaks there, which are by far higher. And that's kind of like the way it goes. Then you go up on the next peak. You might feel that, the happiness that I'm sensing right now, that I feel is nice, but it kind of has this nervous quality to it. Maybe I can somehow refine it a little bit. What would I need to do to refine it? And then you practice it. You find, because you're maybe journaling, which is a very clever thing to do. Maybe you're journaling, you write down what you're doing in your meditation and the outcome of it. Or maybe you are, maybe you are taking note mentally, which is good too. Now, whatever it is that you are doing, always comes with results. Your actions impact yourself, the world around you at large. That can give you a kind of a guideline. That's why I think it's really important. If you are on a spiritual path, if you practice for yourself, do you journal? If not, start it. Or write down what you feel in your meditation sessions. And you will quickly notice what you're doing, if it works or not. There's a lot of people who meditate for years and years. They're not journaling at all. They're not writing down their experiences. So what do you think, what do they get? Kind of like a undefinable mass of stuff. Sometimes your session is kind of okay, sometimes it's not, but you just have no idea why. You don't know. Why was that session just now so nice? What made it so nice? Certainly you did. You made it nice, but what was the thing that you did? Why was it? Here again, victim mentality. Oh, it was so nice. It happened. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't the one that made it nice. Notice the way I phrased that. It was a nice meditation session. Like a nice way of putting your responsibility away from it. Saying like, oh no, it's not what I did, it's what happened. How lucky I was, today was a nice day. Probably was the moon, maybe it was the moon. Maybe it was because I was meditating near to a pond, the energy of the water maybe. Who knows, right? And you can only really know if you take 100 trips to that pond and you measure your meditation during full moon times, during low moon times, maybe you get a kind of an idea after a while where you meditate best, when, at what times you meditate best. And most importantly, what are you doing inside that helps you to get better results? I think it's a pity to see people who are biting their teeth into a technique without any kind of discernment, hoping that the technique will work someday. That's what you don't want to do at all. I think you would never approach any type of work in daily life like that, right? You wouldn't, if you're a computer programmer, for example, you wouldn't just hope that your code works. That's ridiculous, right? You sit down and you kind of do the same thing over and over again, hoping it'll work out. That's not the way it lifts you up. It's the way to stay the same. Do you want to stay the same? Do you want your meditation to be the same kind of wishy-washy meditation in 20 years? Or do you actually want to grow? Now then the question we need to ask ourselves is, how do I invest energy to grow it? If your meditation was a plant, what kind of water does it need? What kind of soil does it need? If you have that kind of yearning, craving to grow happiness, fulfillment, peace, spaciousness, kindness, compassion, you name it. If you have that yearning, you would naturally start to measure. You'd naturally start to sit down and look at what helps you to get there, what keeps you from getting there. And you would stop doing the things that keep you from getting there. You would do more of those things that lift you up and help you, right? If you really want something. We all do it anyways. If we want something, we go for it. And we naturally check, well, does it get me there or does it not get me there? If I need to go to a shop, I don't know where the shop is. Ask for directions. I'm not just walking around hoping to find the shop.
Google Maps.
It's like, who would do this? I mean, like, okay, I really need to go to 7-Eleven. Let's just walk and hopefully I'll find one.
It's all with 7-Eleven.
With 7-Eleven it works out. That's particularly
It's a bad example because
Yeah.
every 500 meters.
Yeah, what was it a friend said, like Phuket being the longest 7-Eleven in the world or something like this? Yeah, that's true for 7-Eleven. You'll find one very quickly. But you get the point, right? If you want something and you hope you will find it or you hope it will come to you, or maybe once in a billion, you have this lucky incident or where you just happen to stumble upon a profound state. And even then, if you don't take careful notice and reproduce it, it'll be lost on you. Now, let me tell you one of the main secrets of good meditation practice. You want to evolve in your meditation practice, please remember one thing. You are the one that creates and maintains and deepens your feelings. And in the beginning, it's all about feeling. The states that you're looking for, they all belong to the realm of feeling. Whether it is PT that you're looking for, rapture, joy, bliss, these are all feeling states. Do you know how you feel when you're happy? There it is. Yes. Yeah, that feeling you're feeling right now, pay attention to it.
And it's gone.
And now it's gone, but you can reproduce it. There you go. Like when you're sitting, for example, in your meditation practice, you remember a happy state that you had. Maybe that would be an unsuitable state for meditation practice. You can't sit there and laugh the whole time. You will quickly plateau with that state and you need to find something better. You see what I mean? But if you want to find something deeper, you've had deeper states. Remember them, concentrate on them. That's how you produce them. It's that simple. Many people don't know that. They kind of hope that it will happen. They don't know what made it happen. So this is the way you invest your energy into producing what it is that you want. Not hoping. Let go of hoping. That's how you lose your energy. Hoping, fearing, worrying, anticipating. You lose energy for nothing. And you invest energy in yourself being somebody that has no power whatsoever. That's not the truth. You have a lot of power. A lot. Well, if you use it wisely, if you invest your energy well, you'll quickly progress. There is no way around that. Okay, that's all that comes to mind for today. Thank you very much.